To break up the old content, let's take a look at Call for an Uprising's newest video, which is important video. Happy New Year World Order. Let's check it out.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place.
Secret video of me or a picture?
Sure.
Okay.
Societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Before I get to this content, I want to remind you to sub to my backup channel, The Fire Rises, because videos like this get strikes for no explanation because they don't want me.
They get strikes because you do medical misinformation, and then you bitch and you're like, I just showed a video from a thing. Yeah, and then you talked after it and said a bunch of bullshit that isn't true about magic potions, as you call them, or whatever dumb dog whistle you're using these days to talk about medicine. Like, seriously, you know why they're getting banned. Stop playing stupid.
Talking about anything going on with the potion.
No, this is from this New Year's. This is new. This came out a day ago.
And everybody else
Narnindia says cute Eric Andre meme with him shooting his own channels.
Seems to be able to. Not legit YouTubers, but, Russell Brands and all these people can constantly talk about this stuff and not have to deal with any problems. Anytime I even mention anything about it, even if it's just repeating a story that's put on CNN or somewhere else, I seem to run into trouble. So,
because you always add your commentary, which is staunchly medical misinformation, which, by the way, nothing in this video that Call says is probably true. He's an idiot and a liar and a conspiracy theorist. So
I need to do this video and show you this because it really ties into some of the agendas I've been wanting to talk about and show you clips of. So please just make sure you sub to the backup channel, The Fire Rises. It's posted below. Pause the video now. Click.
Backup channel. Yeah, I already have this one.
This is The Fire.
Did he do any new videos on here? No. Here's a link to his new channel. There's probably reportable stuff on there if you want to check it out. Let's try and nip this in the bud, shall we? And while we're at it, you know what? Here's a link to this video too. Happy New Year.
Click the subscribe button and the bell. That way you can catch my videos, because if another strike here, I'll have 2 strikes. And I will be able to upload for 2 weeks, so you'll be able to see my content. So, one of the things I wanted to show you here is about what our favorite family doctor said. And of course, this is not me giving out any medical information. I'm just sharing what Dr. F says.
Just saying you're not giving medical information and then giving medical information isn't not giving medical information.
And of course, this is about New Year's. Just like Christmas, just like all the holidays, we've heard, number one, there's 2 agendas here, okay? Number one, the NWO agenda has always been to break up families, right? This works in so many different ways. Breaking up families, obviously having them raised by the institutions. That's
this call of a jobber, is he ban-evading full-time? I'm guessing he's ban-evading full-time. He has a pretty substantial Patreon. And guys, I've tried to report his Patreon so many times. They don't do anything. So, Patreon, call for an uprising. I don't know if anyone here happens to know anyone from Patreon. I kind of doubt it. I used to. I had an email with the founders, because we were some of the first people on Patreon, Jake and I. So we actually talked to the founders at one point. They seemed like nice people. But if you want to try and report his Patreon, please go for it. Here's his Patreon. The fact that he's bringing in as much money as he is from this is probably what's sustaining him and making him able to spread this misinformation. So if you could help get that banned, again, not just cuz, but because he is spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theories in general, anti-vax rhetoric, etc., etc., please do. Please go and report it. Please do what you can.
That's why they want mothers and fathers both working, so the institutions can raise the child. They raise a child in a godless world, a world of evolution, a world of lies. Parents are separated from their kids. The kids spend more time with the teachers and with the students than they do with their own families. That's one way, obviously, for years and years they've been doing it. Now with what's going on, everything's falling into place even better.
So he just doesn't like the concept of schooling? That's not super shocking to me, I guess.
Better for them, because what they're doing is they're keeping families isolated from each other, right? This is pretty obvious. Families aren't allowed, they don't want families seeing each other for the holidays. And even though people could easily just go, I don't care what they say, I'll go see my family members. We have obviously many family members, all of us, who don't want to see one another because they're scared to death of what's going on. So they
Honestly, any excuse to not see Call if he was my family member would probably be a good one. Sorry, Call. I can't come to Christmas this year. I have to wash my hair.
say, oh, we'll see each other next year. Then it becomes next year and the same thing's going on and they say the same thing until it becomes routine and normal, which is what
I have a feeling that he has some family that have just continuously been like, hey, no, I'm good. I don't want to see you. And he's like bent out of shape about it.
Especially considering I'm guarantee he's not vaccinated, considering his opinion on the vaccines, his incorrect opinion on the vaccines. Call, you know, if you get vaccinated, your family will probably be more likely to want to see you. Speedy Yoshi says, parents not having enough time for their kids because they constantly need to be working sounds like a capitalism problem. Marcus Drake says, the next time someone talks about homeschooling, I'm going to show them Call and say, now imagine if he breathes.
what we're seeing.
That is one positive. I've never heard him talking about having any sort of wife or kids, so.
I definitely have heard him say that he has daughters, so.
Are they estranged, or are they still in his house?
know.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
Going on. So I'm going to show you Dr. F talking about New Year's, and then I'm going to talk about the two big agendas and show you a movie clip, which you'll find very fascinating. But this is Dr. F's advice for New Year's this year.
So similar to what I said for the Christmas holiday, it goes true here. If you are in a situation with a family setting in your home with family, parents, children, grandparents, and everyone is vaccinated and boosted, although the risk is never zero in anything, the risk is low enough that we feel you should continue to go through with those plans.
Okay. So he's saying literally, if you're being responsible and you're vaccinated, go for it. Cool.
Of having a home-related, vaccinated, boosted gathering with family and close friends who are also vaccinated and boosted. So it really depends on what your plans are. You said, should you change or cancel your plans? If your plans are to go to a 40 to 50 person New Year's Eve party with all the bells and whistles and everybody hugging and kissing and wishing each other a happy new year, I would strongly recommend that this year we do not do that.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's funny. The title made it sound like he's saying, like, you can't hug your family members or whatever. The thumbnail said that, actually, sorry. But that's not even what he's saying. He's saying don't go to a party where you're gonna swap fluids and get really close to strangers. Honestly, that's good advice all the time, but especially now. I find it funny, too, because it's not like Call... I cannot imagine Call goes out and, like, interacts with other human beings, right? There's zero chance. TubeMan, thank you for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs to the community. That's very generous of you. I appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Now, of course, we know that they'll come out with some statistics right after New Year's that they'll blast in our faces telling us about spikes and spikes and spikes.
Yeah, because people are irresponsible, Call. Because of people like you. If you can predict the results that are negative of your own actions, maybe you shouldn't take those actions. TubeMan with 100 bits says, Happy New Year, all. You as well.
Spikes. And the two things to take from this, obviously, are what I was saying before the video clip there, which was keeping people isolated from their families, right? And at the same time, people who go and see their families causing division. Who has the potion? Who doesn't have the potion? Oh, you don't have the potion? Why don't you have the potion? Oh, you're a conspiracy nut? Oh, you're this or you're that? Oh, I don't.
I think he's a little salty from some family calling him a conspiracy nut. Hydrate. Bittergrin says, could you imagine Call at a New Year's Eve party pointing out how every single thing there is a satanic symbol?
I don't like you anymore because you don't have it and I do. Right? That's what they've created in our society, that massive division that they've brought into the household now, because
You've caused the division, Call. Be a responsible adult.
For Christmas, they were telling everyone, ask everyone at your Christmas. Ask them and ask them and ask them. Why? Because they know that it's going to cause division. It's going to cause unrest. And remember, part of the NWO playbook has always been to break up families. Number 2, what you take from that is the hugs and kisses, right? Very subliminal, right? People shouldn't be hugging or kissing. But
Call.
Strangers.
You should not be swapping fluids and breath with strangers during a pandemic that is transmitted via people's, like, spit and fucking breath with spit in it. How is this hard to understand? Pseudosapien, thanks for 18 months, says, a girthy 18-monther. Name this sub, baby.
Shelly Cash.
Shelly Cash. MMO Addicted, thanks for 19 months, says, Happy New Year, Hannah, since it just rolled over for me. I know I haven't been around recently. Life's just been difficult. Hope everything goes well for you. You as well. Hopefully in the next year, you can hang around more. We love having you here. Astrofox says, just noticed it after switching to desktop. That shirt is amazing, and I need to know where it's from. I think this was Meyer? I think this was a Meyer shirt.
very new world order, because this is part of what I've been talking about with the metaverse, with isolation, with men and women, with social distancing, with 1984, Handmaid's Tale, I believe.
He can't even name it. I don't think Call knows what a Handmaid's Tale is about.
It is. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I'm not going to look it up in the middle of recording this because I like to just continue.
Nice top, Hannah. Where'd you get her? Twitter.
Going. But all of these predictive programming stories that have come out, which talk about depopulation as far as men and women not having children together. Now, the film Demolition Man perfectly
the Sylvester Stallone action comedy Demolition Man. You know, the movie where Taco Bell won the franchise wars and the only restaurants that still exist are Taco Bell's. Clearly a very serious movie that you should take seriously. Narendra Owl says, so many words he just spouted that he clearly knows nothing about. I know, right?
Sums up what the future is going to hold for men and women in a virtual realm. Things such as sexual intercourse, which I'm trying to say without insulting anyone.
Does Call know that The Handmaid's Tale is a theocracy? I think he'd like it. Like, I don't think he'd be against A Handmaid's Tale. It's a theocracy where LGBT people are killed as gender traitors. Like, that sounds like exactly what Call for an Uprising wants.
Yeah, and people are forced to carry children.
Yeah, that just sounds like what he wants. What?
Or insulting the algorithm are going to be a thing of the past. Things are going to be done virtually, mentally. And there's not going to be physical contact between men and women anymore. There's not going to be physical contact between human beings anymore, as insane as it sounds. That is part of this plan that you see going on. It's not just about removing laws and taking control, which everybody thinks that it's about.
Yeah. Monando says, Hannah, I think we're closer to the Pizza Hut Demolition Man than the Taco Bell one. Yeah, there were two versions of Demolition Man. One where the franchise wars are won by Pizza Hut, and one where they're won by Taco Bell.
Taco Bell sounds so fucking good right now.
Yeah. Yes, it is about that, but it's about more than that.
Order some Taco Bell.
It's about isolating people from one another, right? It's about the Great Reset, not owning anything.
Not having money for Taco Bell broke is very broke. That sucks. Speaking of which, I gotta actually pay rent. Could you calculate how much you need me to pay? Okay.
It's about people not interacting with each other anymore for fear that they may spread something, which leads to people not having intercourse, which leads to people not having children, not getting married. It leads to, well, take a look at what the future holds, because Demolition Man has tons of predictive programming in it, such as this.
Everything is voice coded, so if you need something, just ask. Lights? There is, of course, a well-known and documented connection between sex and violence, a general state of neurological arousal. I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
Here? Now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right back.
They go into their sex booths or something. No, that was the Woody Allen movie that took place in the future. Do they have virtual reality sex or something?
Now just relax. We'll begin in a few seconds.
Begin what?
Having sex, of course. But I thought you wanted to make love.
Is that what you call this? They said we just do it the old-fashioned way.
Ew, disgusting. Bodily fluids. Do you know what that leads to?
Yeah, I do. Kids?
The rampant exchange of bodily fluids was one of the major reasons for the downfall of society.
So for those who haven't seen Demolition Man, the premise of Demolition Man, it's like an action comedy that Sylvester Stallone is like a super cop that in like the year 1999 or something gets frozen for some reason, and then he gets unfrozen in the future, and it's this sort of dystopia where everything is super nice, but it's so nice that it's like not fun. It's not, everything's commercialized. Like the radio plays like old advertisement jingles instead of actual music. Like everyone's obsessed with nostalgia. So some of it like actually pretty accurate, but although it's just cribbing off stuff that was already happening in the 90s. It's not like nostalgia didn't exist in the 90s, you know? So it's a kind of funny movie. It's not great, but it's an okay, kind of bad Sylvester Stallone action movie. It's not predictive programming. It's just commentary on society in the 90s, Call. It's not predictive. It's just satire. Okay?
It's not predictive, it's descriptive.
Yeah, there you go.
Law and behaviorally engineer all fluid
How do you use the 3 seashells? Hey, get a load of Spongy Lord. He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
transfer out of society.
In the movie, Sylvester Stallone goes to the bathroom, and he's like, I didn't see any toilet paper. There were just 3 seashells there, and it's a running joke where everyone goes, he doesn't know how to use the seashells. Because in the future, apparently, people don't use toilet paper. They use 3 seashells. And we don't know how it works. I guess I always assumed you scoop with 1 seashell and then you use the other like, I don't know.
What?
I don't know! I don't know.
I'd assume you fill the seashells with water and pour it on like a bidet.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Hydrate.
Acceptable behavior. Not even mouth transfer is condoned.
What about kids?
Procreation?
Yeah.
We go to a lab. We go to a lab. Fluids are purified.
RoboCop is better. Of course RoboCop is better. RoboCop's a great fucking satire. RoboCop's amazing. Or RoboCop 2 is also really good. RoboCop 3 sucks. Blackwing Hecate says, I got Taco Bell for dinner. Thanks, Grumble. Enjoy the diarrhea.
Screened and transferred by authorized medical personnel only.
Frightening, right? Frightening reality, where they're using helmets and things like that to
Call, it's not supposed to be real. Imagine Call reading Gulliver's Travels and being like, oh my god, can you believe these stupid little Putians? They're in a war with Brobdingnag's the big people. What were the 2 little Putian societies? I forget what it's called, but they were at a war with another Blefuscu. Thank you, that's what it was. They're at war with Blefuscu because they one society thinks you should break your boiled eggs at the top, and the other thinks you should break them at the bottom. Like, does Call look at satire and think it's literally saying the thing they're saying is happening or going to happen? No, usually satire is a blown-up version of a thing facetiously in order to illustrate a point. In the case of the VR headsets, it's someone commenting on how they felt in the 90s. Things were getting so sanitized and commercialized that people were losing parts of their humanity and being led to a society where everything is commodified. They no longer are able to actually interact with people in real human ways. They're not literally saying you're going to just fuck people with VR headsets. Cool Sage, thanks for 10 months, says, I know how to use the 3 seashells. Good for you.
Interact and to achieve these types of feelings with one another because, ooh, it's gooey and it's icky to touch one another, to kiss one another, to be intimate with one another.
That gay
That's
sex
what
is icky. Don't even talk, Call. Like, dear God, shut up. So tired of his voice.
Marcus Drake says, okay, but am I the only one who is violently in favor of VR sex? If people want to have sex in VR, I do not care. I was in VR chat the other day, and there were so many people fucking making out. It was weird to me. I don't care that they're doing it. I was just like, oh, all right. There's a stormtrooper making out with a cat girl. Cool. H. Baird says, Gulliver's Travels had a society run by university professors who were smart. Were so smart they screwed everything up. Seems up Call's alley. See, I actually like that part. Because it wasn't necessarily about just intellectualism, but it was about people who... How do I put this? I guess I'm thinking of the floating island one more so, because the floating island one was full of people who thought themselves intelligent, but really were just pretentious. It was interesting. I like Gulliver's Travels. Thrash Mio says, Idiocracy also predicts things, which is the correct future, or does he think Demolition Man is the prequel to Idiocracy?
Do you have any idea how badly I want Call to watch Don't Look Up?
Everyone, go watch Don't Look Up on Netflix. It's really good. It stressed me the fuck out, but it's a great movie. Pixels Falling, thanks for 5 months, says, gonna have to go to my man Hank again on this guy. Let's see.
Horse's ass.
The future is going to continue to push towards. So while people think a year from now, oh, Christmas will be back to normal, right? This is what these people think. And then they're being told the same stuff and they go, well, next year it will be. And they don't realize that they're being programmed. And they're being programmed to get used to this. And the more that it happens year after year, people not seeing their family, getting used to Skyping or Zoom.
Morok with 50 bits.
The gun is good.
The gun is good!
That's the thing with Sean Connery and the banana hammock, right?
Zooming with their family members or FaceTiming with their family.
You weren't a fan of Don't Look Up? Why? I'm interested. I saw some people say it was super on the nose, but that's the point?
Yeah.
It wasn't trying to be subtle. That's the point of the movie. Sky Comet Fallen says, Don't Look Now is one of the best thrillers I've ever seen. Never heard of it.
Family members, the more it becomes a normal part of their lives. The first year, oh my goodness, this Christmas stinks because we're all Zooming. This year, oh, you know.
Call. Baha and I went to her family's Christmas. Everyone, to my knowledge, was vaccinated. Everyone was vaccinated. We had a Christmas. It was fine. It was a lot of fun.
It was my favorite Christmas that I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was the best Christmas.
I got to sit in a DeLorean. It was super cool. Like, just be a person, Call. Be responsible for your family.
It's not that bad, you know, as long as we're all healthy from Omicron, right? And next year...
Omicron. He can't even say it right.
There'll be something else, and then everyone will go, well, we're used to it now, so we have a thing in place where we know, we send the presents to each other, and then we get on there, and, and it's not about anything more than isolating and breaking up families. Christmas, obviously, not something that personally...
I don't think he cares as much about other people's families as much as he's projecting the situation with him and his family onto other families.
Yeah, I think he thinks, oh, well... They just don't want to see me because of, COVID, because that's probably what they're saying. And he's like, oh, all families must be doing this shit too, and it's bad, when in reality, like, we saw both sides of my family were all vaccinated, and we had good Christmases.
Mm-hmm. Nornandia Owl says, and somehow nobody has died from the evil potion either, right?
I celebrate...
You shared this in Jake's chat, but I'm not sure if I saw it yet. Let me look.
Has he offered to withdraw?
What the fuck?
Has he offered to withdraw? Or to withdraw from the process?
A cat cam? I didn't realize Holly was in here with us, snoozing.
But other people out there do, and
Omicron, her Omnicron is the new nuclear.
Will you turn it on?
Yes.
it's not about, this video. I'm not talking about celebrating Saturnalia or whatever you want to believe it is. It's about, Christmas for a lot of people, including myself, is about spending time with family because it's one of the only times you can get all your family members in the same place at the same time to see them and to spend time with them, which is a really important thing in life. Well, they want to take that away because they want to destroy families. And that's always been a part of the New World Order playbook. Now, looking at the clip there of intimacy and those things, that is setting people up for the metaverse, for the virtual world.
No, it's not. Again, I own a VR headset. I own one made by the Facebook Meta company. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Like I said earlier, on VR chat, you see a lot of people doing weird shit. It's fun. You can play games on it, but that's it. I use it a couple times a week, and that's it. It's just a fun toy.
And that's also part of what's going on here with the isolation, right? That's why I showed you the Bill Gates thing. If you haven't seen it, check the video out I put up last night where Bill Gates, was talking about in 2 to 3 years how all meetings are going to be held.
I've played Beat Saber. I like Beat Saber. It's a lot of fun.
Inside of the
It's so cathartic playing Beat Saber. You feel cool.
Metaverse. There aren't going to be business meetings in boardrooms. Everything's going to be shut down. Everything's going to be online. Everything's going to be virtual. And eventually everyone's going to be physically with their bodies connected to this virtual realm by putting certain things inside their bodies that will help them connect to it. Understood? Makes sense, right? We could all figure that out. And we all obviously know why all the videos on graphene have been removed for the most part.
Because you're spreading medical misinformation. Call
from YouTube and got one of my channels that had 130,000 subscribers deleted pretty quickly without even having a chance to appeal it. Because these are the things they don't want people to know. But no.
Is he implying butt plugs for the metaverse? I'm in. Agreed.
Knowing that everything is going to be online, then you have to look at it too from that other perspective, because we talk about depopulation all the time. Depopulation isn't just about, men are having trouble. We know the statistics, right? Men and women are struggling to have babies, right? Because of all the chemicals and everything else that are being
No.
sprayed. 2, men and women are struggling to have babies because of the magic potion. Okay.
No, they're not. There have been no studies that say that. Again, this is why you get banned, because you spread medical misinformation. Here at 11 minutes 14 seconds, he makes a false medical claim about fertility and the vaccine. Please report it. 11 minutes 14 seconds. I'll report it right now, too. Sperm misleading. I can't believe they still haven't added a specific thing on YouTube for just medical misinformation. Medical misinformation saying vaccines cause sterility. Oopsie. 11 minutes 14 seconds. Report it if you'd like.
Hey, there's truth to that too. But 3, it's going to be men and
ironically, COVID can cause fertility issues. Funny how that works, huh? Mike Max with 50 bits says, I love the reaction when Candace Owen realized that Trump wasn't on her side about the vaccine. She even made a video calling him a dumb boomer. Also, have you heard about anti-vaxxers attacking an Apple store because they think it's owned by Bill Gates? I heard about it.
Oh my God.
Women aren't allowed to, because men and women, we're going to get to a standpoint where the rules are going to be so strict that men and women can't physically be with one another. Why? For fear of the outbreak, to contain the outbreak, to contain it. And
do you think people aren't fucking each other during the pandemic? I know you probably haven't gotten laid during the pandemic, but
I've gotten laid a lot.
Me too.
And the constant fear, and then the constant programming where people get used to this.
Gotten laid during the pandemic.
True.
This isolated life where they're living online and not living in the real world, they just give up and they go, okay, it's fine, you know, as long as we're safe. I don't want to get the
Rublum with 500 bits says, Hannah, allow me to speak to Call in a language he'll understand. Call, you're as original as a Kiss cover band and half as talented.
common call.
Oof.
Off. And they go along with it. And the younger generations aren't going to know a life other than that. Okay? The young kids out there aren't going to know a life other.
Gene Simmons might be a piece of shit, but I'll give him this. He is pro-vaccination, and he has basically gone on Twitter telling anyone who isn't that they're an idiot. So I'll give him that.
That's why they're programming them with Sesame Street and Disney and all this stuff, getting them used to this society, while they want to program them to think that this is normal.
Sesame Street and Disney are trying to get kids not to fuck?
Let's take a listen.
Aren't going to know a life other than that. Okay? The young kids out there aren't going to know a life other than that. That's why they're programming them with Sesame Street and Disney and all this stuff, getting them used to this society, while they want to program them to think that this is normal, to be walking around with masks and all this other stuff, so they know nothing other than that, so that they never question it, so they never rebel against it, so they think it's normal, that they're doing...
Call, you know people in, like, parts of Asia have been using masks as a preventative for sickness for, like, decades, right?
Yeah, but that's because, like, Japan, for instance, their culture is not individualistic like ours. They actually care about other people and don't want to get other people sick.
Doing a good thing, being safe, that people like, you know, the people who won't wear masks are bad people. And
Tucker White with 100 bits, redneck loudmouth, choose tobacco. Y'all laugh now, but everyone using the metaverse leads to everyone getting stuck inside. Ding! Which is how Sword Art Online happens. Oh, a redneck that's seen Sword Art Online. That's rare. Sword Art Online.
All that kind of stuff. They're prepping them for the virtual hell that is to come.
Oh, Lord. I gotta read this one just because it makes me laugh. Farquad says, Disney produced some of my first hard-ons. Fuck this guy. I applaud your honesty. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, yoink. Unconditional Prong with 50 says, maybe stop hoarding all the wealth, Elon, Jeff, Bob, Donald, and all the others. To answer to why people don't want kids is in this article. Let's see. Elon Musk says civilization is going to crumble if people don't have more kids. Yeah, income's down. Why would people be having kids if they can't afford it? Plus, people don't feel the need to as much anymore. Like, even if, like, let's say Baja and I won the lottery tomorrow, I still wouldn't want to have, like, kids. I wouldn't be against it. And we've talked about when we're older, potentially fostering some older kids or something. I don't have an issue against that.
Since teenagers have such a hard time getting, you know, placed with people, and also lots of foster parents are not doing their best.
Yeah, but I would never want to actually, like, have a baby, have a kid, and raise it from birth to 18. Carnio1 says, call, it's people like you, why the outbreak is as bad as it is. Tucker White says also, fuck you, Bittergrin, for beating me to the yoink. Siberian Winter says, personally, I love the thought of face masks being normalized. It makes cold and flu season much easier. Agreed? Steven, what am I reporting the video for? I do scams and misleading, but you could do whatever. As long as it fits into what you think medical misinformation would be, because YouTube is stupid and doesn't just have a button for medical misinformation. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I don't think call has been laid since the Clinton administration. Mike Max says, this reminds me if the new South Park movie where Clyde refused to take the vaccine but was okay with taking cocaine. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen South Park in many years. Pixels Falling, thanks for 100 bits.
I hate to say this twice in one meal, but horse's ass.
Wow, you even used a different clip. Nice.
And the virtual hell that is to come, you saw right there in Demolition Man, what it's about.
Sorry, Sky Comet Fallen says, Mulan, famously anti-rebelling against norms.
Right? It's about many things. There's many agendas involved in it, but one of them is taking humans away from each other, where even touching one another becomes a sickening thought for people. That's how frightening this is. And I know that's a stretch with what Fauci said about hugging and kissing, but it's not in reality. because these are things that are going to start being implemented more. Not just don't go hang out with your family members. Try not to hug and kiss your girlfriend or wife for a while, right? You're going to be surprised around Valentine's Day if they come out on TV and they start telling you not to kiss your girlfriend or your wife or your boyfriend or your husband. Are you going to be surprised? They say, hey, this Valentine's Day, be safe, don't kiss. And there's commercials like that. Would you be shocked? Right? And then it starts becoming normalized. Like, okay, let's not kiss because we...
Catherine CED with 45 bits says, I live in Asia and masks are normal. I'm triple vaxxed and still wear a mask everywhere I go. Americans are such babies about wearing masks. They work. They're considerate of others. And if more people in the U.S. wore them, the virus would be under control. Yeah, at least more under control.
We don't want to spread anything. And let's wait till this whole thing's over. And it's never over. And then people just get used to not having intimacy with each other. And humans just start continuing to be distant from each other. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It's exactly where all this is headed. So that's why I wanted to show you that. Look, people look at it, they go, that's crazy.
That normally people that are dating or married are in each other's bubble. Like, so
I don't know. I don't think he understands any of the actual, guidelines. Because if you live in the same house as people, you're already going to catch it. Like, Baja's sick right now. Sicker than I am. My throat's starting to hurt now, too. But I also understand, if she gets sick, I'm going to get sick. If I get sick, she's going to get sick. Most likely, right? Yeah. It is what it is. The guidelines aren't for people you already, are in close proximity to constantly. It's for other people to try and curtail the spread beyond your individual bubble.
And, even so, even if you do live in the same household as someone, there are instances where, when my grandma died, in September 2020, I had to choose whether or not I was gonna come back to Hannah's house after going to the funeral. Yeah. And I was masked, everyone was masked, we were all social distancing, but still we were in a small church for her funeral, and I had to decide, Hannah and I had to have a conversation hey, are you good with me coming back even though I might have caught COVID or something? And so we ended up deciding I would come back and I would just be really safe about it. I basically immediately when I got in the house, I put my clothes in the washer, I took a shower. We tried as best as we could, and that's not to say that it would be 100%, but it's so stupid. When the pandemic started, we had just started dating, and I moved in with her at her house in Saginaw so that we could be together.
Mm-hmm. Spongy Lord with 100 bits. I live with an 85-year-old. I love him. He's my grandpa and the man I respect the most in this world. Getting my booster on Tuesday. Good. Good for you. Tube Man says, speaking of that new South Park special, this was the only thing I thought was funny.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to change your life. Have you ever heard of NFTs?
It's a long stretch. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's how they operate. That's how they work. They start seeping in new rules, new restrictions, little by little, because that's where they want to end up, is the way it is in Demolition Man. Right? They don't want people interacting with each other. They don't
Call, if you can find someone to swap fluids with you, more power to you.
They don't want husbands and wives. They don't want children being born. They want total, not just control of our lives, they want total control of every single thing, giving birth, intimacy, all those things that are normal human behaviors, they want to take from you because it's not going to be a normal world of humans anymore as people continue to transform. And we know why they're going to continue to transform. I hope you found this video helpful. Reminder, check out the website at callforuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. A lot of great information being shared over there. Hope to see everybody over there. Please consider joining if you haven't. I want to thank everyone out there who's a Patreon. Your help really and support really helps this channel. So thank you so much. And make sure you thank the patrons. Keeps me here on YouTube. Give them a little thank you if you see them in the comment section anywhere. Just write, hey, I'm a patron. You deserve a pat on the back. I greatly appreciate you guys. And of course, I appreciate all of you in general, Patreon or not, just for being here, supporting the channel, thumbsing up the videos, commenting. It's very, very nice feeling to have so many people who care. I care just as much about all of you. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.
Nice.
If you've ever...
Call is an interesting guy. Oh god, he's got another Bill Gates video. I'm not going to watch this. I just wanted to see what it's about. Let's see. Bill Gates predicts our work meetings will move to the metaverse in 2 to 3 years. I don't really care what Bill Gates says. But if people are working from home, maybe. It's possible. I don't really see the benefit of that over just doing Zoom calls, if I'm being honest. As someone who has used VR, at least currently, it's uncomfortable enough that it's not worth it over just Zoom calls. Maybe someday, because I understand the benefit of having a presence and being able to have body language in front of people in a formal setting where you're talking about things and trying to communicate ideas. I do get that. And being able to do so in a 3D space is cool. But at this point, it just doesn't make sense. The headsets aren't comfortable enough. They're expensive. You gotta charge them. Boomers are not gonna understand how to use them. They barely understand how to use Zoom, much less setting up and using a VR headset, etc. I just don't see it happening. Dr. White says, well, calls pegged me on one part. Ooh, hot. I want everyone to stop having kids. In my utopia, abortion becomes mandatory. Sounds very reasonable. Hydrate. Would you have to wear pants in the metaverse? No. You'll be smooth like a Barbie doll. H. Barrett says, but if you use VR for meetings, how can you go to the bathroom in the middle of a meeting? You just do it. Mute it. You just see your coworker muted, but doing this.
Is that how you pee?
It was a poop. It was someone who was really constipated. No, I don't do that when I poop either. I was trying to illustrate a joke, god damn it.
You were no physical comedian. Making fun of you makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm. Great. I'm glad. Couldn't just take Dayquil like a normal person.
Ew.